I'm hoping that I can actually start this now. Hi, welcome to the video. That was not the intro I was expecting, but it's the one that we get. We're going a bit bougie today, I think the term is. What does bougie mean? I should look up what bougie means. Oh, it's slang. Okay. Ah, a tin flexible surgical instrument for exploring or dilating a passage of the body. Okay, yeah, that's me. I've wanted to find a... Wait, oh my god, did I lose it? Oh, there it is. I wanted to find another Wikipedia article. So naturally I was trying to get really weird about it again. So I just started delving, oh my god, my language today. I wanted to get really weird with it, so I started delving into like a lot of the things that I've had hyperfixations on, which brought me to two things which are very closely intertwined, which would be Brutal Orchestra and Hieronymus Bosch's Garden of Earthly Delights. If you've never played Hieronymus Bosch's Brutal Orchestra, it is a amazing roguelike, possibly one of my favorites, though I think I say that about every roguelike. No, this one's my favorite. This one's my favorite. It was like, it had feelings, it had emotions to it. There was like an actual really good story there for something that only had like 3 or 4 cutscenes. Well, a lot of those were just dialogue pieces, but you know what I mean. Because of that, I started having a hyperfixation on the game, and because of what I naturally do when I start having a hyperfixation on something, I start reading everything I can about it. It eventually brought me to Hieronymus Bosch. Like, that was like a rabbit hole within a rabbit hole. Like I vividly remember, I think like 3 days a week after I got off work. This was like, yeah, last year. No, like a year and a half ago. I would get home from work. I would go to the nearest bar down the road and I would get a beer and I would just stare at this image and be like, what the this? And I still only have a vague idea. It's been a while since I've looked at some people's interpretations of the work, but I feel like I know enough, like just off the top of my head, and just from, you know, we can just look at it and make our own interpretation. Hieronymus Bosch lives in like the 1500s. We don't know a lot about him. We know that his father was in some sort of religious convent that I think had something got to do with music as well. I'm going to flash like all the actual information here. And by actual information, I think I mean Wikipedia, because that's what we do here. But his father was very religious, and we can assume that's like why he got into painting. Now, there is a lot of religious imagery within his works, and you know how much I love religious imagery within works. You can imagine, based off just looking at it from a mere glance, that it's something got to do with the Garden of Eden. Straight away, with what I think is going on here, I like to think this is like the Garden of Eden if Satan or Lucifer, I forgot the name, I'm pretty sure it was Lucifer. Lucifer, the light bringer. Sorry. I feel like this is an interpretation of Lucifer still influencing the Garden of Eden without, you know, encouraging Adam or Eve to directly eat the apple. If they hadn't eaten the apple, would things have actually worked out? You know, would they actually have been able to resolve all their issues? And that's what Hieronymus Bosch is trying to propose here, in my opinion. There is a lot of interpretations about this in terms of where he got a lot of this imagery, because as we go through this, you will see there is some really strange imagery. Some of it is attributed to things like bestiaries of like the African regions. There was a lot of like explorers who like wrote stuff down, and I imagine a lot of it was not real. And a lot of the creatures that you can see here look a lot like those creatures that were documented, but like they're more like cryptids, if anything. There is a phenomenon called St. Anthony's Burn, or the Burn of St. Anthony's. He also had another piece called The Something of St. Anthony as well, which is why people make that connection. Old rye, when it was burnt in a furnace, it would sometimes have this fungus on it. When it was burned, it would become synthesized LSD. And again, that would explain a lot of things here. No further comment on LSD. But it is also a triptych, so that means it is a piece where the centerpiece is the length of the 2 outer pieces, because it closes in on itself, and it has this nice like enclosed earth. I think it's from the 5th day of creation, when God created the atmosphere. Off the top of my head, again, I can't think of it. It's going to be like right here, or maybe even here. Who knows? So, what we got here on the left, naturally we would be going left, middle, right, because he's European. We have what already seems to be a bit of strange imagery. You know, we got like generic Garden of Eden stuff here. We got assumably Adam and assumably Eve and assumably Jesus. Oh, those are the names I'm going to refer to them from here on, because I'm just going to call them Adam, Eve, and Jesus. We have them sitting here by this small little pond, and in this pond we see some creatures emerging. The strange thing that we see emerging from here is a lot of these maligned creatures that just don't fit with what we know from reality. A lot of them are much like darker colored, and they have like these oily furs that like this. It's macabre. It rings like evil in like terms of mind. Yeah, there's a tree-headed lizard back here. This other lizard crawling out of a shell, and these non. The phrase I see people repeat a lot is non-Euclidean structures, as in, you know. What does non-Euclidean mean? Non-Euclidean, like, they don't really play into, like, the natural way we know shapes to take form. We have, like, these structures, like these fountains that appear to be completely biological. A lot of interpretations think that this is almost a perversion of nature. And as we go on, you might start to agree with that, or you might disagree with it more. We also got some other creatures in the background here. One of my favorites is this two-legged dog thing with such shiny little eyes, and his best friend, the giraffe. And I really like the giraffe as well. We got some spiked boars back here. Now, those could actually just be regular boars with some boarlings. We got just some other creatures. Like, again, generally, like, reasonable stuff here. Nothing, like, too out of the ordinary. You might, like, squint at some things and be like, oh, that's a bit strange. You know, it's the best way to put it is this is where like the roots of evil are starting to take place. And what that evil is, you may be asking, can also be seen here at the very bottom with this image of Jesus, Adam, and Eve. From here we can see that alright, I need some sipping juice. You can probably tell this is not wine. It's it's not vodka, it's water. It's a Ribena, that's what it was. So, from here we can see Jesus, Adam, and Eve. The one thing people like to point out a lot with this one is Adam's feet touching Jesus' feet. People really liked feet back then. People really like feet now. But where that plays into this is almost... I'm trying to think. Let me look up one interpretation. I remember hearing something really interesting about this. Adam and Jesus. Let me check the recording. Oh, class! Oh, yeah, sorry, it isn't Jesus, it is God, because Jesus wasn't born yet. Yeah, I'm sorry. Adam and Eve's introduction, Christ-like figure, the fall of man, yeah, I get it. We've been here before, fall of man, you know. Feet. Why do I have to? Adam's toes touches the Lord's feet. Here we go, wait. Adam's toes touch the Lord's foot. Here is the stressing of a rapport. Adam seems indeed to be stretching to his full length to make contact with the Creator, and the billowing out of the cloak around the Creator's heart, from where the garment falls in marked folds and contours to Adam's feet. Also seems to indicate that here a current of divine power flows down, so that this group of three actually forms a closed circuit, a complex... Yeah, so there is a closed circuit. That's actually a really good way of putting it. They're all connected here as one. As we go on to see, Eve avoids Adam's gaze, although, according to Walter S. Gibson, she is shown seductively presenting her body to Adam. Adam's expression is one of amazement. Prenger suggests three elements to his seeming astonishment. Firstly, there is surprise at the presence of the gods. Secondly, he is reacting to an awareness that Eve is of the same nature of himself, and has been created from his own body. Finally, from the intensity of Adam's gaze, it might be that he is experiencing sexual arousal for the first time. After Adam and Eve eat the apple in the Bible, that's when they're like, oh my god, we're naked. That's when the evil stuff happens. Based off that, I do like to think, well, I don't like to think, it is my own interpretation that Eve is presenting herself in such a way, and Adam does have this almost infatuation with her, which, you know, that's when things started to go awry in the Bible. And based off the nature that we see in the background, all of these, you know, different pieces that are just like just about right, but just like the slight perversion that is like corrupting the natural order of things. And the natural order of things is something that we believe Hieronymus Bosch was very in favor of, considering he came from a religious convent that probably had a lot. This was like the 1500s. Around the same time, people started having more nuanced ideas of Satan, which led to a lot of more people being more reinforced in their own values. I've seen some people try to interpret that Hieronymus Bosch was just scared of sex, which, you know, is also very valid. It could have been. As for my highlight creatures in this panel, we got this really cute, like, Bengal kitten that's eating, like, a turtle. This nice otter seal-shaped thing that, you know, I'm surprised it actually looks a lot like a seal. Oh, seals are all over the place anyway. That's probably very possible. This little narwhal with a horse's head, a duck with a massive mouth, three-headed bird, it seems. I've already talked about the two-legged dog. I love that guy. And then we got these flocks of birds going along in the background. And, you know, I don't think it needs to be said, this piece is f***ing beautiful. Oh my god. I love the way it looks. This like oil painting. It's done on some sort of hardwood, probably mahogany if I was to guess. Currently it resides in Museo del Prado in Madrid. I haven't seen it myself. If this video gets enough money, I will go see it. I really want to see that piece so much. It's on my bucket list. But with that said, I think we've set the grounds here. There is a natural order with some perversion or corruption happening that goes against the natural order of things, and it very quickly bursts into entropy. Very quickly, as you can probably see from the second triptych. I'm going to call it the second triptych. No, the triptych is the whole thing. The second image. We'll go with second image. Also, I'm seeing, I'll leave a link to what I'm currently viewing this on in the description. Connected to Wikipedia, but I don't think it actually is Wikipedia. It's a Zoom viewer. This is extremely highly detailed. I actually haven't even seen this before, so this is like the first time I'm even seeing it in such high detail. But as you can see here, there is what I would reasonably describe as an orgy. And I'm jealous. We have large groups of people. Like you can see, like you can put two and two together of what happened here. People wouldn't be dying of old age in the Garden of Eden, presumably anyway. We didn't have anyone really last that long in there. Thanks, Adam. We can see that there is, you know, large swaths of people who seem to not really be giving much of a damn. A lot of them possess fruit on their head. Back then, this was a great image for lust. A really big thing for lust. I think there's some figs around here as well. Another imagery of lust. We got lots of fruit. People being inside fruit and people coming out of eggs. Which is, you know, that ain't right. People shouldn't be doing that. It's completely unnatural, which is very clearly what he's trying to express here. And with that, we have, you know, birds in water and fish in the sky, and it looks really cool. I wish I had a more nuanced thing to say than it just looks awesome. So we'll start at like the bottom here, I suppose. There is a lot of interpretations I've seen where people comment on the interraciality of the imagery. A lot of them go with like really hard with the words they use. I don't think that's necessary. We can just say that back then interracial coupling would have been frowned upon. You know, we can say that, and we can imagine the ideas that Hieronymus Bosch would have had being a Dutchman in the 1500s. I don't think I need to go in too much into that. He's saying that's unnatural. I disagree, but we're not scrutinizing the man's politics here. What we do see, however, is just a lot of f***ing. Like, it is an insane amount of f***ing. I'm sorry if there's a teacher that wants to use this for educational purposes, but I cannot sum this up any other way. There is a lot of action going on here, and you're not meant to look at it with envy. You're meant to be looking at this and frowning upon it. We got some more of these really weird structures in the background that just defy all laws of nature. Oh, I never even realized that. The game Brutal Orchestra takes a lot of inspiration from this piece and St. Anthony's Burn. I don't know what the actual piece is called. I'm just going to keep calling it St. Anthony's Burn. A lot of the enemies and the item designs actually come from these pieces, which I think is really cool, using an art piece as a basis for storytelling and like filling in the gaps where other people might not have. I'm just looking around here to see if there's anything... And I don't know how I didn't notice that before. There's just like a little owl. A little owl. Oh, he's adorable though. Some of these are like I love animals. Some of these are adorable. I wish a lot of these were real. I wish there was a 7-foot owl. Why is there no 7-feet owl? What else? I remember some big thing about people riding, or a knight riding a dolphin or something like that. Can I find that? There are people riding these sort of fish creatures here, but I remember those just look like mer people. More mer people who could be wearing armor. If we want to take armor as a sign of like knighthoodship or chivalry, and having them riding fish, we could assume Hieronymus Bosch is saying that this is very silly and knights should not be doing that, especially when there's people fornicating everywhere. Which probably is something he would say. I'm acting like I know the man personally, but you know, he's very strong in his interpretations. Oh, wait, where is it? Or was that in the next one? I remember there's someone hiding nearby in like a little cave. A lot of people coming out of water buildings as well. The fact that all the buildings are exclusively conjoined by water as well is really interesting, almost as like the opposite of streets, if that's what he's going for. Again, just reinforcing that idea of like everything being completely unnatural. We got these oyster people. Oh my god. Oh, what's that man doing to a dog? There's a lot of action going on down here. Jesus Christ. Sorry, Jesus. Oh yeah, down here. We see right down here near the bottom right of the middle image. There's another owl. There are these two people that look like they're hiding away almost, or that they're retreating. A lot of people assume that this is Adam and Eve after they've done everything. They've pretty much made the next generation and they're looking on it with shame, almost as like a warning to people who do grow up. Let's say you get into a marriage and you just start going at it, and now you have this permanent thing that you can't fix, and because of your nature, that nature is going to be repeated, and it's just going to keep getting more and more like degenerate as it goes on. Again, the way he expresses this is just, it's done in such an interesting way. It's just so cool. Any other standout creatures here that I want to point out? I like this cat, fish, horse thing. That's absolutely beautiful. Some hippogriffs. Awesome. Okay. There's this, it's like a stork holding a bird creature in an orb near like the center. We got some people with birds on their head. I'm pretty sure that's another imagery for lust as well. Like almost everything here is imagery for lust. We got some people inside shrimp, and then people riding that shrimp. With a bear is also riding that shrimp, and then there's a bird riding that bear. Not that kind of. Sorry, I thought I would be. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. We got a guy flying. That looks like a griffin, and he's holding a branch. I'm assuming that's, again, another imagery for whatever. So we got this knight merman. That is unmistakably a knight. He's holding a apple on a stick, almost like it's the Minecraft like carrot on a stick for this flying fish thing. That is, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Like this just silly imagery of knights. You know, turning chivalry up on its head. It's silly. It's just, he's just a silly little guy. And yeah, down here we got some people eating from the trees. Now, obviously, that like you could say that's like people eating from the. Well, actually, we don't even know what people say. Apple of Eden all the time. We don't know what the fruit was. It could have been anything. You could say that people taking fruit from trees here could be imagery of that, or just a subtle reminder. But they're still in the Garden of Eden, so we can only assume. But moving on from the middle triptych, I think we can go on to the last one, which is possibly my favorite one, because everything just goes to shit. Like, it is not nice here. We see some burning buildings in the background. This could possibly be something about how we have developed more as a society at this point, maybe more just mirroring where he would have been at, you know, in the 1500s, or where even we are now, because we also have buildings, so this could be us. Starting at the bottom, you know what? Actually, I'll start at the top. There's a lot less happening on the top, and technically I already did. But we see some burning buildings. These streaks of light coming out behind here. Absolutely beautiful. Oh my god. I never even realized that before. Actually, yeah, that bit up there is just beautiful on its own. And then on the right here, I can't really see it because the guide, there's a little guide in the top right for me. It's probably going to be in the video because I'm now realizing I don't know how to get rid of that. But I'm going to zoom in a bit more. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, this is beautiful. This is the first time, like I think I said it earlier, this is the first time I'm actually seeing this in such high detail, and I really want to go see this in person. We got some soldiers marching bridges here. It almost looks like they're raiding the place, as we got people just all in the nude coming out of a river? Yeah, that looks like it's coming out of a river. And it looks like they're almost dying immediately. This could be Judgment Day, where the corpses of the dead rise from their graves to seek judgment because hell is full. Which is badass imagery, by the way. Oh my god, I love Christian imagery. More light shots over here. We can see, like, those look like hooded figures. Possibly going towards the light to seek judgment. And then some more burning building. God, these mountains look sick. Like, just this top part here alone. Sorry, I'm getting obsessed with this. Moving down to the bits that I actually know of. We got this double ear with a knife and like an arrow going through it. That's one of the enemies in Brutal Orchestra. We got this, I think that's known as the sepulcher. That is also in Brutal Orchestra and has a really, really good theme song to it. We got this tree man hut thing here in the center. A lot of people interpret the face of this creature thing to be Hieronymus Bosch himself. I think a similar face appears in one of his other works, and that's why people think he just, he wanted a face, and he was like, well, I might as well just put in my one. There's a flag of the sepulchre up there as well. I never realized that. What does sepulchre mean? Am I using that term right? A small room or monument cut in rock or built of stone in which a dead person is laid or buried. Ah, so it's a rest. Oh, I mean, like, okay. People calling that the sepulchre probably insinuates that there's a corpse in there. I think they refer to it as a pope in the game. Anyway, so inside of Hieronymus Bosch and his boat feet, we got a group of men presumably gambling. A lot of people sum it up to, while there is a cat maid working on the floor. I think she's meant to be wearing Coventry clothes, or she's meant to be a nun. She's doing housework for these gamblers. Again, just another switch of how things are meant to be, because, she's a woman of fate. Come on, get back to praying. We got these men wearing blue cloaks, this nice little dolphin guy in the bottom left. Oh, that's a cool skull. I never even noticed that. We got a skull here, and then a thing coming out of it, and a key hanging out. It looks like there's either a corpse on it, or the key is in the shape of a corpse. There's a little Kenku bird mothman down here. This monkey pulling on some rope it's connected to a bell. Oh, that's another enemy. I never even noticed that one before. I didn't know that the little legs hanging out of the bell. Again, just even more badass imagery. Yes, I do find suffering quite badass. We go down here to the bottom. This is a lot of musical instruments being used as instruments of torture. We could assume things like Hieronymus Bosch saw music, like recreational music and not like choir music, as a perversion of the art. Or it could be people turning these things just for their own will in general. I forgot that this little creature here is sewing some music into this guy's ass. People have transcribed this, I'm pretty sure. Sheet music. On a character's butt and a gown of early lights that went undiscovered to fire. I don't know. I don't. I don't think it went undiscovered. This guy's claiming that it was undiscovered. Well, you can't just. So the top comment is someone being like, "What do you mean undiscovered?" It's like very hard. It's very easy to actually see. And then the first reply is, "It's a very large painting," and then just a link to the Wikipedia page. Yeah, okay. And I was seeing, because I'm pretty sure someone transcribed it at some point, which actually would have been pretty funny to hear. Because I'm not gonna lie, I have no doubt that he probably didn't play any instruments or could read sheet music. So it would be really funny if someone transcribed it and it was just horse shit. So what else we got here? Oh yeah, back to the fucking... Is that a mouse person? Oh my god. Oh, it's horrid. There's a man encased within a drum while a rat person plays that drum. A lot of people playing instruments that are just human suffering. This repetition of blue I really like. It reminds me of Zdzisław Bajinski. I'm definitely butchering that, but it's Polish, so you cannot blame me. He used that same tone of blue. Well, not the exact same one. Zdzisław? I don't know. That Prussian blue, I think it is. Yeah. This was it's the same figment of blue that was left over in those camps that the 1940s German people had. When the Allies eventually found them, the gas was left in this hue. Zdzisław likes to say that he doesn't attribute any meaning to his works. That's why he doesn't title any of them, because he doesn't want to push any ideas on people. He just wants them to come away with their own interpretations. And in my own interpretation, that is definitely very reminiscent of those times. Thank you, YouTube, for not letting me speak about those things. You know what I mean. Got Hieronymus Bosch's boat feet here, which I think is really funny. A bunch of these hounds, like lizard hounds, eating a knight in armor, possibly representation of how chivalry is dead. There is a knife just cutting someone in half here. That's a strange... is that an oil lamp? Where were oil lamps made? Oh yeah, okay, they would have had oil lamps. It's 1500, so why wouldn't it? It just looks like some sort of diving tool, considering they're beside water. Again, this is just another bit I haven't seen. And there's also these fish people. It looks like there's a lot of people in the background here. Possibly a plague doctor. And down here in the bottom right, we got my favorite bit of the entire thing, the Prince of Hell. I don't know who called him the Prince of Hell, but that's a compliment. You gotta take it. And he looks so silly. I love him. I've always wanted to get him tattooed on my arm. because I've just loved this imagery here of like, he has like the little like cauldron on his head, he has the pots on his feet, he's defecating humans in whole. That's possibly another imagery for, because he's devouring people in whole and defecating them in whole as well. Possibly imagery, possibly symbolism for how people would be fornicating without the purpose of reproduction and just for self-pleasure. It's a gluttony thing. He's eating just for the sake of eating. He's not getting any nutrition out of this. We see other people, he has like this flesh clot below him, this nice like shadow hound here that is grasping this woman. My god. Oh, and it has a cool reflection. I never even noticed that. It's like reflected here. This person's in some sort of capsule treating. Within the feces pool that the prince is leaving behind, we see someone just vomiting into it, possibly to make it worse, and then there's just some people drowning in it. This guy is just defecating like coin. I have no idea what that means. Well, maybe prostitution, if I was to guess, if like off the top of my head. We got a pig in nun's clothes here trying to convince a man to sign some papers. That's possibly a commentary at the church of the time. It is very possible that Hieronymus Bosch taught very negatively, or he considered himself more zealous than the church, because he was definitely like a believer based on a lot of this, and he definitely grew up believing, like having some really strong beliefs. Back here we see a guy with a sword on his head, and he's like blindfolded, definitely like a symbol for injustice. The guy with a sword through his hand, it's like a jester mouse. Oh my god. And we got these again, more hounds eating people, and these ones are wearing armor as well. It's just, is this just me? Is like, this is why I'm making this video. I want to do some more art appreciation stuff. But is it just me that thinks this is like kind of awesome? Like, it is absolutely insane, which is why I love it. It's just complete artistic control. This is what we would have today if we didn't have producers in Hollywood. Get me the Hieronymus Bosch film. Oh, is that a kappa? Okay, that looks a lot like a kappa, but we've seen like these other like green people around here before, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was just another green person. But yeah, in whole, we are pretty much just seeing that Hieronymus Bosch thinks that fornicating without... Am I using the term fornicate right? Yeah, okay, I think fornicating makes sense. Though even if they were married, we can assume that Hieronymus Bosch thought very negatively of this, based off of just like abundant imagery of fruit on heads, just the flipping of the natural order. Because everything else is unnatural, we can assume everything we're seeing is meant to be seen as unnatural. There are some things I have a lot of questions about that I think I would like you guys to even try and make your own interpretations of, and if you do, let me know what they are, because I am actually just genuinely interested to hear people's interpretations of this. That's another thing as well. I didn't want to do too much research on this because, you know, I feel like my interpretation is unique and does matter before I start looking at other ones, which could influence my own. But I want you to go out and look at this as well and make your own interpretation. I remember when I was really big into alchemy, I had this idea that the three triptychs were meant to represent salt, mercury, and sulfur, which would have been like, those are the trias prima of Western alchemy, which would have been very prevalent at the time with all these nuanced ideas of Satan coming out. A lot of people would have a lot of research into alchemy, and I like to just connect things back to alchemy. What can I say? There's a lot you can do with this. I would love if people went out and they looked at this and they came to their own interpretations and just talk about it. It's a really cool thing. I really like looking at pieces like this. There's so many more pieces by Hieronymus Bosch. I would even go back, I'd make a video on Zdzisław. Before I make a video on him, I'm going to learn how to pronounce his name first. I'm going to go through the Wikipedia article on this to see if there's any interesting tidbits before I close this off. Okay. Yeah. Like I was saying earlier, a lot of the creatures here are from, as Wikipedia puts it, contemporary travel literature. The Wikipedia says that this could be to just give a nod to people who are more learned and would be reading, because they might even pick up on some of this and be like, oh yeah, I recognize that. I suppose vaguely like a pop culture reference within his own work. While a lot of them resemble this, I still like the idea of St. Anthony's Burn and that he was just like gone off his head while he was making this. Really interesting quote here that I think backs up some of the stuff that I was saying anyway. In Frange's view, the scene illustrates a utopia, a garden of divine delight before the fall, or, since Bosch could not deny the existence of the dogma of the original sin, a millennial condition that would arise if, after expiation of original sin, humanity were permitted to return to paradise and a state of tranquil harmony embracing all creation. Some people are interpreting this as this carefree environment where, you can just do these things without it's really painting young people and old people as a problem to us, because if they were able to just do all this and everyone was born as like a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old or whatever, there would be zero issues. Everyone would be able to take care of themselves, and you technically could just do that. The fact that people could do that could be interpreted as a way of erasing morality even. Why do anything if you can just keep creating without a single problem? Again, I'm just trying to relay some ideas that I'm seeing here, which I think are they're provocative at the very least. In 1960, the art historian Ludwig von Baldas wrote that Bosch shows how sin came into the world through the creation of Eve, how fleshly lust spread over the entire earth, promoting all the deadly sins, and how this necessarily leads straight to hell, referencing the third panel there. I mean, it takes two to tango, my man. There is a self-portrait. Yeah, a drawing made by Hieronymus Bosch, which is considered to be a self-portrait anyway, and it does look a lot like the one that we see in the painting as well. Well, I just read over the interpretation section, and that's most of what I could find. They do go like more specifically into like the panels themselves, but a lot of it is just like descriptions, and I don't want to go like I just finished describing the entire thing. But again, I would really like to know what other people think of this. If you think this is a good series, I have a lot more art pieces that I would love to go over. One of my friends has this really good artist. I'm going to have to message him. Adam, if you're watching this, I need to know what that one artist was. Again, the imagery is absolutely beautiful. I will say, like, I'm more a fan of the imagery than I am of the actual messaging of this. I think it just looks really cool. I'd love to just get this on my entire wall. Oh, speaking of, I got some posters. Those two were done by a guy called Nuclear Smash. I got them in Dublin. That one, I don't know who made that one. If anyone knows who made that, I got it in a convention in Dublin like 2 years ago. I'll put your name up, because I feel weird advertising out without giving away credit. But those two were done by a guy called Nuclear Smash, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to double check that. I'm going to leave their handle on screen somewhere. And then that's an Among Us map, and that's just killed him. Yeah, I don't need to shout out Warhammer and people who made Among Us. But, getting sidetracked here. I'm going to leave that there. This was done a bit on the fly. I was going to record a different scripted video I had done, but I shaved and I kind of want to grow out my beard and like cut my hair before I do like one of the produced videos. So we're doing this one on the fly. I'm going to edit it over the weekend. Hopefully it'll be out Monday. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this painting. If you do, go ahead and look at it. Let me know if you have any interpretations. There are so many interpretations of this online. I might even make a follow-up just going over other people's interpretations, because I wanted to make this like just my own raw take on the piece itself. Yes, I have looked at a lot of interpretations, but that was like 2 years ago. Some of my points might run parallel to some of the other ones you'll see. And if they do, link those down below, because I'd love to watch them and go back over this. But in the meantime, I'm going to listen to some interpretations of this while I'm editing it. I'm going to finish this Ribena, which I thought I would have went through in a few seconds. Look out for a produced video, like a more bigger produced video. I'm making a video on a game, I know, possibly in the next week or two. Because those ones, they're good for views, and you know, I'm the game I'm talking about. I'm really passionate about what I'm talking about, because I love it and I hate it. Is probably the best way to put it. Anyway, I'm not Marvel. I shouldn't be using every piece to market another piece. If you like this format of me mostly just talking about whatever's on the screen in front of me, I have those Wikipedia videos, and if not, I'm sorry. Expect more Wikipedia videos to be recorded next week. Expect more art videos possibly to be recorded next week if this one does good. And yeah, I'm gonna get some actual alcohol now. Yeah. Oh, I hope you're in frame. Oh, I hope she's in frame. You've been doing so much exploring this morning. If you don't... Normally what happens is she starts talking about conspiracy theories in front of me, and I have to turn off the video because, well, I'm not allowed to say half the stuff she says. Insane little baby. No, she moved. Well, like, I can't record if she's moving around. This is what it looks like, by the way. I literally just have to wait until she gets settled in, and when I start speaking, she's like, we're doing stuff now. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to record. We just played. Do you want to go out? I'll let you out. You want to go out? Yeah? Go on. You can do it. I trust you. Go on. You want to leave? Yeah? She's definitely still at the door, but she's not doing anything.
Fuck that tree up. Yeah.
Awesome. Alright. We're good. I don't know if I'm going to put that like the start of the video or the end of the video. I'm still going to have to wait for her to sell because I'll just show you. Go on, do it. Oh wait, what are you doing now? What? Was there a bird? We're 5 minutes into recording now, about Okay. What do you want? What are you doing? Oh. You gonna fuck up that bowl? No? The one thing she never does, she never goes for this bit. She'll always go for here and like the bottom. She doesn't like the actual scratching bit. Yes, good girl. You will be so peaceful and calm during my recording and not cause a disturbance. Yes. Yes. Alright. I trust you. Don't do anything. I'm hoping that I can actually start this now. Hi, welcome to the video. That was not the intro I was expecting, but it's the one that we get.